Are you over 60? Still feel like everything's just fine? No numbness in your hands. No headaches. No high blood pressure. You think your body's holding up well. That nothing's wrong. But I want you to really hear me now, because what I'm about to say might change the way you understand your own health. Let's talk about a familiar moment. It's evening. You had a long day. You're finally relaxing. You pull up a blanket, turn on the TV, and grab a little something to snack on. Maybe it's a bag of buttered popcorn. Light, crunchy, comforting. A fruit yogurt, cool, smooth, easy on the stomach. A couple of whole grain cookies. Someone said they're good for fiber. And maybe a bottled smoothie. It looks healthy, says organic, right on the label. You eat, you drink, you enjoy. You feel at ease. Because the packaging tells you all the right things. Low fat. No added sugar. Heart healthy. All natural. But here's what most people don't realize. That sense of ease, that comfort, is the very thing putting you at risk. What feels safe can sometimes be the silent thing hurting you, especially after 60. While you're asleep, those so-called healthy snacks might be doing things you can't feel yet, thickening your blood, forcing your heart to work overtime when it should be resting, triggering silent inflammation in the smallest blood vessels in your brain, the ones most likely to rupture, raising the pressure in your brain with no warning signs at all. There's no pain, no alarm, just the next morning, and suddenly, one side of your body doesn't move. A silent stroke, while you slept. And sometimes, there's no next time to make things right. If you tend to eat late. If you trust every food that says healthy on the label. If you've ever thought, I feel fine. What's there to worry about? Then what I'm about to share may be the most important health warning you'll hear this year. Because in just a moment, I'll reveal 10 everyday foods that older adults often eat, especially in the evenings, that quietly damage the brain's blood vessels, one night at a time. Stay with me, because after 60, even one night of being too sure can cost you the rest of your life. You know, there's something most people don't think about, but I see it every single day in my work. It's the little habits, the tiny things that seem harmless, but over time, especially at night, when your body is resting, they can quietly build into something serious. Let me tell you a story. One of my patients, he was about 67, a former Marine, tough as nails. He truly believed he was eating just fine. Every night before bed, he'd snack on a few pieces of beef jerky. Just a little, he told me. A way to relax, to remember the old days. But a few months later, he was rushed to the hospital. A sudden spike in blood pressure while he slept. No warning, no pain. Just one morning, he couldn't lift his arm. When I reviewed his diet, I saw what he'd missed. Jerky, as we call it, is a salt bomb. Not just salt, but nitrates, preservatives, and a laundry list of chemicals used to keep it tasty and shelf-stable. I know a lot of people think, hey, it's protein. It must be good for me. But that's not how the body sees it. The high salt and nitrate content, it can damage the lining of your blood vessels, thicken your blood, and raise your blood pressure, especially at night, when your body is supposed to be resting, and that's when strokes are most likely to happen. Silently. No warning. No pain. Just gone. I want you to imagine this. You lie down after a long day, thinking everything's fine, but inside, the food you ate, especially at night, is quietly working against you. So what do I recommend? You don't have to give up every small joy, but you can make smarter swaps. Instead of jerky, try a hard-boiled egg, or a few slices of steamed chicken. Simple, clean, heart-friendly. Remember, not everything labeled protein is actually healthy. It's not just what you eat. It's when, how much, and how it affects your blood vessels while you sleep. I don't want to see another patient wake up with a paralyzed arm because of a habit they thought was harmless. Have you ever had jerky at night? And have you ever noticed how you feel the next morning? And you know what? Beef jerky isn't the only silent threat hiding in your kitchen. Take a look at this. Seems harmless, doesn't it? A bag of microwave popcorn. Simple. Convenient. A quick evening snack many people, especially after 60, reach for while watching TV, reading the paper, or just trying to settle a hungry stomach before bed. But that little bag, it's not as innocent as it looks. I remember a sweet lady, 72 years old. She brought microwave popcorn with her every time she came in for a checkup. She told me, "It's a healthy snack, doctor. No sugar." But what she didn't know, the reason she felt tired, with a racing heartbeat every night, was likely coming from that very bag of popcorn. Have you ever heard of diacetyl? It's the chemical that gives microwave popcorn its buttery smell, and it's been shown to damage nerves, even brain cells, when inhaled over time. And that inner coating of the bag, it's lined with PFOA, a chemical linked to hormone disruption and thyroid cancer. Not to mention the salt. Lots of it. And as I've said before, after 60, that kind of salt load can spike your blood pressure, inflame your blood vessels, and trigger something called a mini stroke, a silent event that often goes unnoticed until it's too late. Now, I want you to picture this. You're sitting back, enjoying what feels like a harmless little treat. But every kernel is quietly sprinkling acid, salt, and toxins onto your blood vessels. Softly, slowly, and silently. The fix? It's simple, and still delicious. Skip the store-bought bags. Instead, make your popcorn in an air popper or even on the stovetop. No chemicals, no coatings. Then drizzle with a little extra virgin olive oil. Maybe add turmeric or a pinch of garlic. Not only do you cut out the toxins, you add powerful anti-inflammatory ingredients that protect your brain and your heart. See, the difference between harm and health is often just how you prepare it. Have you been eating microwave popcorn at night? How do you feel the next morning? Tired? Heart racing? A strange heaviness in your head? Try changing it up tonight, and let me know how you feel. I'm always here, listening, and sharing what I've learned to help you stay well. You know, some things look healthy. They seem like smart choices at first glance. But when you read the label, or dig just a little deeper, you might be surprised. Take fruit-flavored yogurt, for example. It looks harmless, even nutritious, right? One afternoon, I was counseling a gentleman, about 65. He told me proudly, "I've cut out sweets, gave up soda. Now I only eat yogurt, the fruit kind, doctor." So I asked, "Which kind exactly?" He pulled a container from his bag, with a big, juicy strawberry on the front. I turned it around, and the first thing I saw, sugar. A lot of it. Here's the thing most people don't know. In that sweet, fruity layer at the bottom, there's often only a tiny bit of real fruit, if any at all. The rest? Syrups, artificial flavors, dyes, and loads of hidden sugar. So what happens when you're over 60 and eat that every day? Your blood sugar spikes and then crashes. And your brain, it doesn't like that roller coaster one bit. The result? You feel foggy, forgetful, mentally drained. Maybe you even start nodding off in the middle of conversations. They call it brain fog. But it's not just aging. Most of the time, it's diet. I want you to imagine this. You eat your evening yogurt, hoping for better sleep, smoother digestion. But quietly, it's inflaming your central nervous system, weakening your memory, slowing down your focus, day by day. So what should you do? It's simple. Swap it for plain, unsweetened Greek yogurt, the real kind. Then top it with a few fresh blueberries. Blueberries are packed with antioxidants. They support memory, reduce inflammation, and calm the tiny blood vessels in your brain. Just that one small change could save your brain from the slow, silent fog no one warned you about. Have you ever felt tired or fuzzy for no reason after dinner? Ever wondered if your healthy choice might be part of the problem? If so, don't worry. Today, you know better. And once you know, you can change it. I used to think that whole grain cookies were a healthy choice. Just hearing those words, whole grain, it gives you a sense of comfort, doesn't it? As if you're making the smart, health-conscious decision. As if it's made from hearty wheat kernels, gently pressed, toasted just right, and somehow harmless to your body. But then one day, I read the ingredient label, and that's when I realized I was wrong. Have you ever bitten into one of those whole grain cookies and thought, "Wow, this is really crunchy, really sweet, really flavorful"? That's your first clue. Because most of the time, What you're eating isn't really whole grain at all. They're usually made from refined flour, meaning most of the fiber and nutrients have been stripped away. And to make it extra crunchy and shelf-stable, manufacturers add industrial oils, like hydrogenated soybean oil. That's a trans fat, highly inflammatory, and known to raise your bad cholesterol, the kind that clogs arteries. One of my patients, 70 years old, once asked me, "Doc, I've cut out all the cakes and pastries, so why is my cholesterol still high?" And I asked, "Are you eating these cookies every night?" His answer, yes. See, the problem is, you don't have to eat junk food to make a mistake. Sometimes the mistake wears a healthy label. But the good news is, we can always take a different path, one that's cleaner, simpler, better for our bodies. So what's my solution? It's easy. Make your own flaxseed cookies. Just some ground flaxseed, rolled oats, ripe banana, a pinch of cinnamon. Bake them lightly. No sugar, no junk oils, no hidden chemicals. The result? They still taste great, but now you're feeding your body natural fiber, anti-inflammatory omega-3s, and keeping your blood fats in check. Have you ever believed that whole grain meant healthy? If you have, I don't blame you. Because even I, a doctor, once believed that too. But here's the beauty of it. Once you know better, you get to start over and do better. Have you ever walked into a convenience store, seen one of those colorful smoothie bottles, labeled with words like clean, detox, natural, and thought to yourself, this must be good for me? I get it, because I've been there too. I've held that same bottle, thinking I was doing something kind for my health. But here's what I want you to remember. Not everything that looks green and says detox is actually good for you. I had a patient. She was in her early 60s, very health conscious. She practiced yoga, ate vegetarian, and drank a store-bought smoothie every single morning. 6 months later, her blood work came back. Her triglycerides, blood fats, had spiked. She was confused and asked me, "But I haven't been eating anything bad. All I have is my smoothie every day." So we looked at the label together. Yes, it was technically a smoothie. But the sugar? It came from concentrated fruit syrups, added fructose, and apple juice, with no fiber at all to slow down the sugar absorption. Here's what that means. When you drink that smoothie, you're not eating fruit. You're drinking a rush of fast-absorbing, pretend natural sugars that spike your blood sugar, raise blood fats, and fuel silent inflammation. And the danger? You don't feel a thing. Not until the problem has grown big enough to show up in a blood test, or worse. The solution? Make your own smoothie. It's easier than you think. A handful of fresh spinach, half a ripe banana, some avocado, a spoonful of chia seeds, and a bit of water. Blend it, and you've got a cool, creamy, fiber-rich drink, full of real vitamins, no hidden sugars, and zero marketing traps. I know you're busy. You don't want extra steps in your day. But let me tell you this, from the heart. You deserve to be nourished by what's real and clean, not by products wrapped in pretty labels and empty promises. You know, who doesn't love a little piece of chocolate after dinner? It's sweet, smooth, melts in your mouth, like a gentle hug at the end of a long day. But have you ever wondered, why do I keep craving more the more I eat? I had an old patient, 65 years old. Every night, he'd eat a few pieces of milk chocolate to help him sleep. But after a few months, his blood became thicker, his LDL cholesterol spiked, and his blood pressure started creeping up every night. When I asked what he was eating before bed, he said, almost sheepishly, "Just a little chocolate, Doc. That's all." And he wasn't wrong. Chocolate itself isn't the problem. The problem is in the type of chocolate. Milk chocolate is loaded with refined sugar and saturated fats from dairy. That combo can mess with your hormones, trigger insulin surges, and most concerning, thicken your blood, slow circulation while you sleep, and silently raise your risk of nighttime clots or strokes. You may not feel it right away, but your body is working overtime to handle every bite. So what's a better choice? Dark chocolate, 85% cacao or higher. Yes, it's more bitter, but it's rich in flavonoids, natural antioxidants that help your blood vessels relax. reduce inflammation, and lower bad fats in the blood. Just 1 to 2 small squares a night. You still get that moment of pleasure, but with benefits your heart will thank you for. I want you to try something tonight. Skip the milk chocolate. Try a piece of real dark chocolate instead. Eat it slowly. Let the bitterness settle on your tongue. And ask yourself, do the best things in life always come sugar-coated? Or do they sometimes arrive quiet and honest? Just like that little square of bitter truth. You know, some things we eat not out of hunger, but habit. A salty snack after dinner, while watching TV, just to unwind after a long day. Chips, crackers, puffed crisps. They're crunchy, they're tasty, and they seem harmless. But as someone who's worked with thousands of patients over 60, I have to be honest with you. These are some of the most quietly dangerous foods for your brain, especially at night. Most of these snacks are packed with sodium, sometimes twice what your body needs in a full day. Add in trans fats, the sneaky kind some companies still use to keep snacks crispy and shelf-stable. The result? Those tiny blood vessels in your brain, the ones meant to rest and heal during sleep, now have to fight through thicker, pressurized blood. I once had a 68-year-old patient. He lived alone. Every night, he enjoyed a salty snack before bed. I don't smoke, I don't drink, he told me. Just a little snack document. That's all. He told me that right after a minor stroke. And the heartbreaking truth? He had no idea that one small habit, repeated night after night, had been quietly eroding his blood vessels for years. Now I want you to picture this. You're asleep. Your mind thinks you're resting, but inside, your blood is struggling to move through swollen, narrowed capillaries. And one day it just can't get through. That's when a stroke happens. But I'm not telling you this to scare you. I'm telling you this because you can choose differently. If it's the crunch you're after, try this instead. A few cool slices of cucumber with hummus, rich in fiber and plant protein. Or a small handful of unsalted almonds, full of magnesium, vitamin E, and heart-healthy fats. This isn't just about swapping a snack. It's about changing the future of your brain. Because after 60, every little choice on your plate can either be a step toward a longer, healthier life, or the quiet slip that steals your voice one morning when you least expect it. Which path will you choose? You know, who doesn't love a cold scoop of ice cream after dinner? Even me, a doctor who spent years studying brain health. I used to love that feeling. That creamy, cold bite on the tongue. A little reward for making it through the day. But after 60, there are some truths we have to face. No matter how sweet they taste, modern ice cream isn't just milk and sugar anymore. It's often loaded with refined sugars and saturated fats. A perfect storm to throw off your blood sugar right while you sleep. And the scary part? While you're lying still in what should be deep, healing rest, your blood may not be resting at all. It's thicker. It moves slower. And in the tiniest blood vessels of your brain, it may simply stop. One of my patients, a 62-year-old woman, treated herself to just a little ice cream every night. She'd heard somewhere that milk helps you sleep. What she didn't know was that her nightly scoop wasn't just milk. It was a chemical cocktail quietly raising her blood pressure. Night after night. One morning, she woke up, half her face frozen. A silent stroke. Struck while she was dreaming. I'm not telling you this to scare you. I'm telling you this because you have a choice. You always have a choice. You can still enjoy that creamy sweetness. But let's remake it in a way your body will actually thank you for. Try this. Freeze a ripe banana. Blend it with a splash of unsweetened almond milk and a spoonful of raw cacao powder. What you get is smooth, naturally sweet, and completely free of inflammatory fats and added sugar. That sweetness, it doesn't just taste good. It helps your brain rest, helps your blood flow freely, and helps you wake up clear, whole, and full of you. Because after 60, every food choice you make is one more step toward a life that's sharper, calmer, and more awake. Every single morning. Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night, a little hungry, and told yourself, just one bowl of cereal, it's light, it'll help me sleep? You're not alone. I've heard this exact line over 100 times. from patients over 60 who genuinely want to do the right thing for their health. And to them, a quick bowl of cereal feels like the safe, easy fix. Fast, familiar, comforting. But here's the truth. That convenience often comes with a silent cost. Those boxed cereals, even the ones that say whole grain, vitamin enriched, or heart healthy, are often packed with refined sugar, processed white flour, artificial coloring, and sometimes even chemical preservatives. Sounds harmless, right? But inside your body, especially while you sleep, that sugar spike leads to a surge in insulin, disrupting your body's natural rhythm and triggering low-grade inflammation in the delicate blood vessels of your brain. I had one patient, a 68-year-old man, fit, strong, no major health issues. Yet every morning, he told me the same thing. My head feels foggy, doc. I just don't feel clear anymore. We ran tests. His nighttime blood sugar was consistently elevated. His blood was thicker than it should be. The reason? He had a bedtime habit of just one small bowl of cereal every night. It's the things we think are harmless that often cause the most harm. But don't worry. You can still warm your belly at night in a way your brain will thank you for in the morning. Try this instead. A small bowl of warm oats, sliced ripe banana, a few walnuts, or a sprinkle of ground flaxseed. It's naturally sweet, full of fiber and healthy fats that keep your blood sugar stable and your brain nourished all through the night. After 60, what you eat at the end of the day isn't just about feeling full. It's about waking up sharp, steady, and full of you. So choose the food your body will thank you for, not the kind your doctor will worry about. I know. A lot of folks over 60 love dried fruit. A few raisins, dried apricots, banana chips. It sounds healthy, doesn't it? I mean, it's fruit. How bad could it be? But here's what most people don't realize. When fruit is dried, it loses most of its water and a good chunk of its fiber. What's left behind? Concentrated sugar. In fact, a small handful of raisins can have as much sugar as an entire can of soda. I had a patient once, 72 years old, very careful about her diet, always chose what she called healthy snacks. And her favorite? Raisins. But she kept feeling wiped out in the mornings, with frequent dull headaches and blood sugar readings that were consistently too high at night. When we reviewed her meals, I asked one simple question. What do you eat after dinner? She smiled and said, just a little dried fruit. Good for digestion, right? But the truth is, that concentrated fructose in dried fruit acts like liquid sugar in your bloodstream. It fuels silent inflammation, raises pressure on your heart, and when eaten night after night, it lays the groundwork for a silent stroke during sleep. So what's a better option? Swap the dried fruit for fresh berries, blueberries, raspberries, strawberries. They're lower in sugar, packed with antioxidants, and contain compounds that protect the blood vessels in your brain. See, sometimes the things that look healthy are just sweet disguises hiding real danger. And after 60, every small choice, even a handful of dried fruit, deserves a second thought. Because at this age, health is no longer a sprint. It's a daily walk toward clarity, strength, and peace. For all the years ahead, you don't need more pills. You need more awareness. My friend, we can't turn back time, but we can change the future, starting with one small decision tonight. Backhand index pointing right, skip the usual late-night snack. Backhand index pointing right, swap that sweet bite for something that loves your blood vessels. Backhand index pointing right, turn off the TV 15 minutes earlier and take a gentle walk after dinner. Because after 60, stroke doesn't choose the weak. It chooses the unaware. It strikes in the moment you think it's just one little cookie. It strikes when your body is resting and your brain is at its most vulnerable. Health doesn't live in a bottle of pills. It lives in your hands. Yes, you can take blood pressure meds for life. Yes, you can get lab work done every 6 months. But if your evening snack is still wrong, then all those efforts, they're just patching the hole, not fixing the leak. Food is not just calories. It's communication. A cookie might be a quiet warning, but a handful of almonds? That could be a shield for your brain. If this message resonates with you, don't stay silent. Speech balloon comment brain strong to let me know you're ready to act. Outbox Stray, share this video with someone you love. Someone who might be snacking the wrong way every night, because this video might just save them. Inbox Stray, download the free guide, Safe Snacking After 60, right below. Print it out and tape it to your fridge. And finally, don't forget, bell, subscribe to this channel. 4 weekly health tips that are simple, doable, and could help you stay far away from hospitals and medications, because you deserve to live strong, sharp, and free, all the way to the finish line. And protecting your brain isn't about luck. It's about knowledge. Thank you for staying till the end. I'm Dr. John, your partner in brain health. I'll see you in the next video.